Tangled Hearts and Sweet Revenge. It all started 6 months ago, when my world shattered like glass under a hammer. My boyfriend of 3 years, James, cheated on me with my best friend, Lila. 3 years of love, trust, and late-night confessions, gone. In an instant. And Lila? She wasn't just any friend, she was my confidante, the one who'd braided my hair in middle school and cried with me over failed exams. Now, she'd stabbed me in the back with a smile. When the truth came out, I confronted James in a fury. You cheated on me, fine, but with Lila? You knew what she meant to me. His excuses were weak, his apologies hollow. Lila had been the one to push us together, calling us a match made in heaven, a golden couple. Turns out, it was all a game. She'd been sulking over a fight with James and tossed him my way like I was a consolation prize. A garbage dump for her leftovers. I only learned this after the breakup, when the pieces of their betrayal clicked into place like a cruel puzzle. Humiliated, heartbroken, and feeling like the clown in my own circus, I drowned my sorrows at a bar one night. That's when I saw him, Vincent, James's older brother. I'd met him before at James's house, always lingering in the background with his sharp jawline and eyes like midnight. Drunk and stumbling, I lurched toward him, slurring, "Hey, big brother." My legs gave out, and I toppled forward, the polished marble floor gleaming below me like a promise of ruin. My face, I thought, panicked, but I never hit the ground. Strong hands caught my wrists, steadying me. Vincent's dark gaze locked onto mine, unreadable and intense. That's when the idea struck me, wicked and irresistible. If James could be heartless, I'd be ruthless. I'd seduce Vincent, make them call me sister-in-law, and watch their smug little world burn. I leaned into him, pretending the alcohol made me clumsy, and let my lips graze his cheek. His breath hitched, and I saw a flicker of something, amusement, maybe, in his eyes. "Big brother," I purred, "I like you." He smirked. "You're drunk." "No, I'm not," I protested, and before he could argue, I grabbed his face and kissed him. The bar erupted in cheers and whistles. Step 1, success. Vincent wasn't just James's brother, he was a catch. CEO of the prestigious Grayson Group, a multi-millionaire bachelor at 32, with a face that could stop traffic and a presence that commanded rooms. Compared to James, a middling nobody with a cheating streak, Vincent was a different species. How were they even related? I didn't just want revenge, I wanted James and Lila to suffer. Slapping their faces might feel good, but breaking their spirits would taste sweeter. So I chased Vincent with a vengeance. I told him I'd fallen for him the moment I saw him, held back only by my relationship with James. Now that I was free, I'd fight for my true love. His expression was a mask, that half-smile giving nothing away. "Give me a chance, big brother," I pleaded. He brushed me off, "Who believes a drunk girl's ramblings? But I'm nothing if not persistent." I camped outside his office, refusing to step inside the lobby, waiting for him with homemade breakfasts and doe-eyed innocence. "Big brother, I made this for you," I'd say, blinking up at him. "I've got so many good qualities, see how much I like you." He'd tease me, his voice low and playful. "Tell me about these qualities." I'd count them off, "I'm young, pretty, cute, I'll make you laugh, cook for you, and I really like you." He'd shake his head, amused. "You're too young, little one." Too young? I was 24, hardly a child. His rejections only fueled me. When he caught a fever, I seized my chance, nursing him with a devotion that bordered on obsession. Soup, cool towels, sleepless nights by his side, until he finally relented. "Fine," he rasped, "we'll try this for a while." I threw my arms around his neck, planting a loud kiss on his cheek. "I love you, big brother." He pushed me away, muttering, "Too hot," his voice rough. I grinned, tugging at his shirt buttons. Then take it off. He swatted my hands away, but I wasn't deterred. That persistence led to the night I learned what playing with fire really meant. I'd pinned him to the sofa, teasing, big brother, until his ears turned red. Half-lidded eyes met mine as he growled, little girl, you're playing with fire. I didn't get it, until he flipped the script. Pinned beneath him, I gasped, my legs are numb. His dark eyes flared crimson, voice husky, call me big brother. Big brother, I whimpered. I was wrong, I won't play with fire again. I begged, half laughing, half crying. The next morning, he strode off to work, radiating energy, while I lay in bed, aching from head to toe. Fast forward to James and Lila's engagement party at a 5-star hotel. Their wedding photos mocked me from the entrance, cheek to cheek, beaming like they'd won the lottery. I sneered, tightening my grip on Vincent's arm. Inside, the piano played elegantly, and guests mingled in their finery. James, in a crisp suit, looked older, steadier. Lila, beside him, smiled with practiced grace. Then Vincent led me forward, his voice cool and clear, this is your auntie. What? I blinked. Did he say auntie? James's face twisted into a grimace worse than a sob. Uncle Vincent. Auntie, he muttered. Lila echoed him, her voice tight with reluctance. I nearly floated away on a cloud of glee as Vincent guided me off, but I had to ask, aren't you James's brother? He raised an eyebrow. James is an only child. I'm his uncle. My jaw dropped. Uncle? The age gap, 8 years, hit me like a brick. Vincent didn't look 32, he barely looked older than me. How? The party buzzed around Vincent, the room's gravitational center. Businessmen toasted him, praising his influence, his wealth. Mr. Grayson, about that West Side land. Mr. Grayson, my nephew just returned from abroad, could you mentor him? He nodded, sipped his wine, untouchable. Meanwhile, James and Lila thanked the crowd from the stage, but no one cared. Vincent was the real star. Curious, I slipped to the bathroom and Googled him. Vincent Grayson, CEO, multimillionaire, a titan in the business world. 8 years my senior, yet timeless. No wonder he'd called me too young. On my way back, I crashed into James, literally. You're trying to steal my fiancé right in front of me. Lila shrieked, glaring. I pointed at James. Him? He's not worth my time. You're jealous, she spat, clinging to him. He smirked, smug as ever. Remember how you fought your family to be with me? Lila taunted. True, I'd fallen for James hard, thanks to her encouragement and his staged hero act, saving me from hired drunks. A bet worth $500, he'd bragged later. My first love, reduced to a cheap wager. But I wouldn't let them win. Call me auntie again, I said coolly. That $500? Consider it a gift from your auntie. Their faces turned purple with rage. I patted Lila's shoulder. No need to thank me. James sneered, Uncle Vincent's just toying with you, he'll never marry you. Before I could retort, Vincent appeared. Big brother. I chirped, clutching his arm like a damsel. He eyed James coldly. You're still a kid, don't overstep. James stammered an apology, and Vincent whisked me away. Backup felt good. Later, in his car, I giggled. We left early, rude, right? He swerved to the roadside, frowning. Miss being called auntie? I squirmed. Okay. Fine, I wanted to hear it more. He chuckled, cupping my face. Plenty of chances later. Then he kissed me, deep and unrelenting, stealing my breath. That night, his words haunted me. Plenty of chances? What did he mean? As I feigned sleep, he slipped into bed, whispering, can't sleep? Let's exercise. I couldn't resist his teasing touch. Big brother, can I say no? Best not, he murmured, and once again, I was devoured. Days later, shopping for Vincent's birthday gift with my new friend Clara, I eyed a massage chair. Perfect! I exclaimed, just as Lila swooped in, snatching the last one with a smug, mine. Clara protested, but Lila waved her card like a queen. Childish, I muttered, grabbing another, only to learn it was a display model. Lila gloated, then hissed in my ear, I hate your holier-than-thou act, tossing me your cast-offs like I'm trash. She ranted about my privilege, my indifference. Clara snapped back, those cast-offs were brand new, she picked them for you to spare your pride. And who paid your hospital bills when you were sick? Lila scoffed, tossing me a card. 10 grand, covers everything. We're done. She stormed off. I smirked at Clara. Generous, huh? Let's eat, her treat. We laughed, dining on her dime. Back home, Vincent frowned at my tipsiness. Just one glass, I swore, dizzy. He scooped me up, and the night blurred. Morning revealed me in his shirt, eaten alive again. Then a delivery arrived, a massage chair, 10 times pricier than Lila's. For you, the maid said. You mumbled about it last night. I groaned. I'd wanted it for him. Back to the gift drawing board. That afternoon, napping on the chair, I ignored James's calls, blocking him. Then the doorbell rang. Groggy, I opened it, to James. Get out, I snapped. He barged in. Bet Uncle Vincent won't marry you. None of your business. He grinned, grabbing my chin. Still love me, huh? I slapped his hand away. You wish. He loomed closer, until Vincent's voice cut through. Doors open? James straightened, meek. Uncle. Vincent lounged on the sofa, patting the spot beside him. You, he said, pointing at me. I sat, smug, as he glared at James. No outsiders here. James babbled excuses, but Vincent shut him down. Nora's not an outsider, he said, pulling me close. James gaped. So did I. From a petty fling born of spite, this had grown into something real. Vincent wasn't just my revenge, he was my victory. And maybe, just maybe, my future. Big brother, I still be good, Vincent murmured, his warm breath brushing my ear, tickling it until a flush crept up my neck. James had just finished explaining the situation, a business snag that threatened the family's latest venture. Without missing a beat, Vincent laid out a solution, his voice steady and decisive. No wonder they called him a prodigy in the business world. In mere minutes, he'd untangled a mess that would have stumped anyone else. My admiration for him, already simmering, flared brighter. As James slunk out, Vincent turned to me, pinning me beneath him on the sofa. The door hadn't even clicked shut, I had no idea how much he'd overheard of my earlier exchange with his nephew. Don't you have something to say to me? He asked, his tone low, probing. Say what? I ventured cautiously, testing the waters. He studied me for a moment, then relented, easing off me with a faint smirk. The massage chair, still like it? Of course I do, it's from you, big brother, I chirped, relief washing over me. So that was it. Good. He hadn't caught James's jab, or my secret. If Vincent ever found out I'd only gotten close to him to spite James. A shiver ran down my spine, cold and sharp. What's on your mind? He pressed, catching my tremor. Oh, did I do anything crazy last night when I was drunk? I deflected, desperate to steer us elsewhere. Crazy? He arched a brow, a wicked grin tugging at his lips. Does stripping off my shirt count? That explained why I'd woken up drowning in his oversized button-down. That doesn't count, right? I mumbled, scooting back. Oh, it counts, he teased, closing the distance I'd made, inch for inch, until I teetered on the sofa's edge. It's daytime, I stammered, clutching my chest. I'd been with him long enough to know where this was headed, and under the bright morning sun? Not ideal. So, nighttime's fine then? He tucked me onto his lap, steadying me before I could topple off. Turns out, I could dodge the day, but not the night. The next morning, I glared at the hickeys blooming across my neck in the mirror, shame and fury, colliding. In a fit, I hurled my phone to the floor. My phone. I yelped, scrambling to retrieve it. Phew, not broken, I sighed, clutching it to my chest. Miss, everything all right? The housekeeper's footsteps sneered. I'm fine. I dove under the covers, hiding my mortification. At breakfast, she chirped, weather's gorgeous today, maybe a low-neck top? I'm cold, I lied, forcing a smile through gritted teeth. After eating, I flopped onto the sofa, flipping through a magazine. I liked marking up pages as I read, but, where's my pen? I rummaged around, coming up empty. Vincent's study would have one. Borrowing this, I muttered, grabbing a sleek fountain pen from his desk. As I turned to leave, a document caught my eye, bid proposal. Yesterday's conversation with James flashed back, Vincent saying, tomorrow at 8, I'll attend with the proposal myself. I glanced at the clock, 7:30. Half an hour left. Panic seized me. I snatched the file, bolted out, and dialed Vincent as I racked my brain for the venue James had mentioned. The number you've reached is off. Off? Now? I yanked James out of my blacklist and tried him, same result. Were they conspiring? At 7:55, breathless and disheveled, I stumbled into the bidding site's lobby. Miss, no invitation, no entry, a guard barked, blocking me. I'd sprinted from the cab drop-off, lungs burning. I'm not going in, I wheezed, thrusting the file at him. Please, get this to Vincent Grayson. He took it, and I collapsed onto a nearby bench, wincing as pain shot through my twisted ankle. The sun climbed higher, scorching. I tugged at my collar, parched. Not hot, a familiar voice drawled. Of course it's hot, you're here already? I spun, flustered, to find Vincent looming over me, shielding me from the glare. Worried about you. Left the rest to the team, he said, handing me a water bottle, cap already off. His thoughtfulness hit me like a soft punch, how could I not melt? Blame you, I muttered under my breath. Accomplice too, he shot back, waving his assistant off. Huh? I gulped the water, confused. For being too tempting, he purred, and I choked, spluttering. He patted my back, chuckling, easy. I grabbed his sleeve, wiping my mouth, on purpose. Little one, know how much this jacket costs, he teased. I'll pay you back with myself, I blurted, sun-addled and bold. That's enough, he grinned, scooping me up in his arms. Vincent, put me down. I hissed, mortified by the onlookers' whispers. Sure you can walk? How'd you know I'm hurt? I know everything about you, he said, voice dipping dangerously. I clapped a hand over his mouth, silencing any more wild remarks. At the hospital, he hovered as the doctor bandaged my ankle. That's it? He demanded. No hospital stay? It's fine, the doctor, a friend, apparently, replied, unfazed. You questioning my skills, Vince? I tugged Vincent's hand. I'm okay, hate hospitals anyway. He softened, stroking my palm, and went to fetch the meds. How'd you meet? The doctor leaned in, grinning. You chase him, or him you? Can I not answer? I laughed awkwardly. Chased him, huh? Respect. He flashed a thumbs up. Back home, Vincent turned into a shadow, working from the house, never straying far. The closer he stuck, the more my guilt gnawed. Big brother, I ventured one night, if someone tricked you, would you forgive them? He set his papers down, eyes piercing. Why ask? Just curious, if you don't want to answer, forget it, I backpedaled, throat tight. He pulled me into his lap. So, would you trick me? My heart sank. He cared, too much. Morning came and he left for work after a gentle kiss on my cheek. The door shut, and I stared at it, dread pooling. What if he found out I'd lied? My pulse raced, tinged with a sour ache I couldn't name, new and unsettling. I dragged myself up, eyeing my ankle, nearly healed, but my waistline? Fatter. Vincent had been fattening me up like a prized pig, 3 meals a day, meat heavy, plus midnight snacks. He'd even cooked himself, him, a CEO, leaving me stunned and stuffed. His food was damn good, too. Wipe your mouth, drooling, his voice jolted me. I swiped my lips, no drool. Tricked again. I glared, cheeks flaming. Breakfast, he said, setting a tray by the bed and ruffling my hair. Keep staring, and I'll think you want more than food. My scalp prickled. I ducked away, reaching for the tray, forgetting I wore a skimpy tank top. Leaning forward, I flashed him. Before I grabbed the food, his hand snagged my wrist, yanking me into his chest. His lips crashed onto mine, fierce and sudden. What the daytime madness? Teasing me on purpose, he growled against my ear, breath hot. When did I didn't finish. Pinned to the bed, his heat overwhelmed me. Wait, I haven't brushed. Don't care. My ankle. I'll be gentle. Beast. Eaten alive again, I sprawled on the bed, questioning life. The breakfast had gone cold, Vincent reheated it. His tenderness clashed with the nightmare of him turning cold if he learned the truth. I'd trapped myself. Feeling off? His warm hand pressed my forehead, worry in his tone. Just hungry, I lied, gripping his hand. He smiled, handed me the rewarmed meal, and left to work. I sipped the milk, sighing. If he found out, well, a breakup wouldn't kill me. He's a CEO, he'd move on, right? Later, in his study, he dropped a bombshell. Family gathering, he said casually, eyes on his laptop. With me? I gaped. Don't want to? His glasses glinted as he glanced over. No, I do. I forced a grin, stiff as plaster. Can't wait for James and Lila to call me auntie again. Sweat beaded down my back. I fled to the bathroom, splashing my face. Calm down, Nora. It's just a party. But unease lingered, until Vincent slipped in, and, well. Sore waist, no questions asked. Saturday hit. I stood, numb, before a massive mirror as stylists swarmed me. Miss Nora, your figure's amazing, one cooed. I twitched a half-smile, drained. Vincent had dragged me from bed at 8, dumped me at this salon. 20 miles from home, middle of nowhere, and threatened to strand me if I didn't cooperate. Cruel man. Hours later, he strolled in, and the awe in his eyes erased my exhaustion. Pride flickered. I'm done for, I've fallen hard. The day arrived. In a floor-length gown, 8-inch heels clicking, I clung to Vincent's arm, stepping into the Grayson estate, a mansion so lavish it could have been a palace. My family had money, but this? This was another league. Had I climbed too high? Ready? Vincent whispered, snapping me from my daze. I nodded, dazed, as he squeezed my hand, his gaze igniting. Too late to rethink, I'd sold myself. James and Lila were there, of course, freshly engaged, schmoozing the in-laws. Lila's smile curdled when she saw me. Lila, you okay? James's mom nudged her. Fine, she gritted out, glaring as Vincent strode in, me at his side, and James shrank beside him. Her eyes could have carved me up. I nearly laughed, this was bliss. Vincent nodded toward a couple across the room, an elegant woman and a man who mirrored him. No mistaking it, his parents. Mom, Dad, he called, towing me over. My scalp tingled, but I plastered on a smile. Hi, Uncle, Auntie. Good, good. His father beamed at our clasped hands, nudging his wife. She blinked, then lit up, grabbing my hands. Look at this girl, so pretty. How'd she fall for a stick like Vincent? Huh? Vincent sighed. Not the vibe I'd expected. I peeked at James and Lila, stunned, jaws slack. James had sworn Vincent's parents would hate me, now they fawned. Lila's fists clenched, fury blazing. She'd banked on them rejecting me, keeping me a temporary fling. Oops. Then Lila snapped. Nora, what right do you have to be here? She shouted, silencing the room. Vincent's eyes turned glacial, pinning her. She shivered but doubled down, shoving James off. Uncle Vincent, you don't know, she's only with you to spite me and James. My heart sank, ice flooding my veins. I stared at Vincent's hand, willing it to stay. Don't let go. I know, he said, calm as thunder. What? I gaped. Lila froze, incredulous. I've known since she first approached me, he continued, voice steady. I didn't care. How? Lila choked. James blinked, dumbfounded. Vincent smiled faintly. Because I've liked Nora for a long time. His grip tightened, soothing me. My panic melted. Lila stood dumbfounded. I'd clinched auntie status, done deal. James reeled too. Vincent cleared his throat, facing James's parents. One more thing. Nora was James's girlfriend, yes, but they split because of a third party, Lila. His words landed like gospel, no one doubted him. Tears pricked my eyes. Since the breakup, only my best friend had stood up for me. Now Vincent did, shielding me like a knight. No wonder damsels fell hard. I hugged his waist tight. Thank you, Vincent. Lila's plan backfired spectacularly. Instead of crushing me, she got herself booted by James's furious parents. Cheating? You forgot our family's values, James, his mom roared, twisting his ear at the gate. Kneel and beg Nora's forgiveness, or you're out. Lila lingered outside, desolate, as I nestled against Vincent, stifling a laugh. But then doubt crept in. The Graysons were strict, Vincent was proof. James was the outlier. Could they accept an ex of his? My family paled next to theirs. I faltered. Don't worry, Vincent murmured, reading me like a book. They'll love you. I bit my lip, nodding. He was right. His mom clasped my hands, warm and kind. Poor Nora, you've suffered. I'll whip James into shape. I'm fine, I grinned, tension dissolving. They adored me. Told you we should have had a girl, his mom huffed, swatting his dad. Now Vincent's brought us one. If she ever wrongs you, tell me, I'll fix him, she added, glaring at Vincent. I laughed. He's great, Mom. It slipped out. Good. She beamed. Finally, a girl brave enough to chase him. Vincent's smirk confirmed it, I'd boarded a pirate ship, and I wasn't getting off.